Albinism expert Murray Brilliant is in Tanzania to help its massive albino population.
1 in 1,400 Tanzanians has albinism, and I'd really like to understand why that's so.
Over the last 10 years, he's developed an exciting new theory that albinism might serve as a genetic defense against leprosy. It sounds radical, but if his theory's right, it could mean that people who carry the albinism gene are more resistant to leprosy. The social and medical implications would be huge.
This may help to change social perceptions of people with albinism in that they provide a benefit to the health of the people of Tanzania.
To gather the data to test this theory, he needs genetic swabs from hundreds of lepers. His quest to find the roots of albinism has brought him to one of the biggest leper colonies in Africa, Bukumbi. For hundreds of years, people have believed leprosy to be one of the most contagious diseases on the planet.
Leprosy is spread by close, intimate personal contact. It's not highly contagious, but it is contagious. It's quite evident who has leprosy because of their physical appearance, missing digits, blindness, and that sort of thing.
Mbogo.
Jumbo.
Leprosy is a bacterial infection, and albinism is a genetic defect, so it's hard to see why there should be any link between the two diseases. But a basic visual clue led Murray Brilliant to the idea of a possible connection.
She has some white spotting on her arm, which is one of the first signs of leprosy, this depigmentation of the skin. And this is the very same tissue, the pigment cells that are involved in albinism. So this is one of the clues that there's a relationship between albinism and leprosy.
Whether this connection is real and why it might have arisen is what Professor Brilliant is here to find out. He'll test his theory by taking swabs from 300 lepers and counting the number that carry the gene for albinism. If the theory is right, then fewer lepers will carry the albinism gene than non-lepers. To help him, Professor Brilliant has recruited a team of local doctors who can communicate directly with the patients.
So brush inside? In the inside. Yeah, good. This is what we're here for. We want to get a sample of DNA, and then it's a kind of quick and easy genetic test to determine whether they carry the gene that causes albinism or not.
One person whose life has been permanently scarred by leprosy is Selina Trifone, a 30-year resident of Bukumbi. Although she rarely leaves her side of the compound, today she's decided to volunteer for Professor Brilliant's study. Like most lepers, Selina has no fingers and toes, but contrary to common beliefs, the disease doesn't cause these body parts to drop off. After infection, the leprosy bacteria attacks vital nerves in the hands, feet, and face. All sensation in those areas is quickly lost, and they are easily damaged by hard objects or fire without the infected person feeling a thing. Most lepers finally have their fingers and toes amputated after infection and gangrene leave them no other choice.
Mwaka 50.
10 years earlier, in 1940, the first treatment for leprosy became available. Dapsone, a targeted antibiotic, was effective in killing the leprosy bacteria. Taken early, it prevents tissue damage. But for Selina, treatment came too late to save her fingers and toes. Now, after donating her DNA sample to Professor Brilliant's study, she's going home to cook an evening meal for her neighbors.
Cooking for me is hard, but it's my job, and I am used to it.
With no sensation in her hands, Selina can easily get burned, but she's determined to take care of her friends.
Others here are worse than me. Cast off up to here. At least I can still hold a spoon. Like this. When my mother died, I had nowhere to live. I couldn't farm. I couldn't do any work. People used to ill-treat me. They would stop me going to the well, and they refused to share their food with me.
The average life expectancy for women in Tanzania is 54 years old. At 69, Selina is determined to make the most of her good health.
When I first fell ill with the disease, I considered hanging myself. Now I want to wait for my turn. God will come and get me when He is ready.
Professor Brilliant has almost reached his target number of 300 DNA swabs. Then, an unusual medical volunteer walks in.
It's rather ironic that I'm here to study leprosy and its relationship to albinism when in walks this woman with a baby with albinism.
Kilichokutoa Sengerema kuja hapa ni nini? Nilikuwa nagongewa mlango kwa ajili ya mtoto.
She'd rather be here in the leper colony where she's afraid to catch leprosy than to be at home where she's afraid that her baby will be murdered.
To try and safeguard her daughter, the mother has even dyed her hair black.
I have more than 300 samples from people with leprosy. Now I can really look at the statistics and see how many of these people are carriers for albinism.
Before Professor Brilliant leaves Tanzania, he's going to meet sisters Semeni and Shida and assess their medical condition.
This little girl here, she's got open areas here that peeled from sun damage. Her skin is like leather.
He also wants to introduce them to charity worker Samuel Maluge, who may be able to offer them a safer place to live. Will this visit offer Semeni and Shida a brighter future?